obviously, I do recovery and all that, and I think more and more I look back at my childhood, it was clouded with a lot of trauma triggers.
Yeah.
Do you know, because there was a lot of good times and I like to highlight them now, do you know what I mean? I like to highlight jumping about with my big cousin Jacqueline and, getting into my granny Brennan's, and, my dad died when I was 4.5 months old, so the scheme, like, it's even like, don't be a grass. What's a grass? What is a grass? Somebody that's not willingly go and horn and stuff. That's not me. I was always a grass, by the way, and I put that out anywhere. It's the same as back in school. I'd never sat with a bully, right, just so I didn't get bullied, right? But it's quite similar a lot on social media when somebody's quite controversial. You'll allow them to do a lot so they don't turn on you. But there is people that's been through similar to me that chose to get healing quicker. That doesn't mean that I was bad or it's wrong if you go down the road of addiction because you can't cope with your trauma. That's not what I mean. But for me, the choices for me were what took me to where I was. Not what people did to me. The choices are how I dealt with the triggers and that trauma.
So, welcome to Social Sessions. Today we're joined with the wonderful Dee Maxwell. How you doing, Dee?
I'm all right. How are you, Sean?
Good, man. It's been a long time coming, and obviously, so what I'll do is I'll just do what I do every night, take you back to your kind of childhood. Now, where did you grow up?
Kilbirnie.
What was that like?
It was actually, I've had so many versions of it, I think, because of different healing processes, but I think more and more, obviously, I do recovery and all that, and I think more and more I look back at my childhood, it was clouded with a lot of trauma triggers. Yeah. Because there was a lot of good times and I like to highlight them now, do you know what I mean? I like to highlight jumping about with my big cousin Jacqueline and, getting into my granny Brennan's, and, my dad died when I was 4.5 months old, so we only really went round sporadically to my granny Brennan's and that. I used to have great resentments for that, but my mum went with somebody quite quickly and I think that was a lot to do with it, and my mum was young too, there was loads of fractures in it, and I was actually talking about, I get really triggered by Christmas. As much as I love it with my wains, and the Christmas day is brilliant, because see my oldest, she's like Santa, reincarnated. She comes in and she's got this Christmas and she sings out and she's so, let's get the gifts, let's get this. So she's brilliant. But when I was younger, for a long time all I could remember was the darkness of it. But lately I've been thinking about how good family community was then. Do you know, as much as we had right harsh times that we'll talk about, what all of us that have survived a lot, but I don't think enough of us talk about, like, we went out in the schemes, we didn't need PlayStations, we didn't need V-Bucks, we didn't need credit for our phone, we just needed street lamps and sometimes just a ball, and we could play multiple games with a ball. Kirby, it was the best one. I was dino at it, you know what I mean? But we play Kirby and we could play that for hours, like my big sisters, and like back then, I know, I'm not saying that aunties don't do things with their nieces and that, but back then your aunties were all involved in your life. I went with my aunties and me and my sisters, and I've got 3 sisters and varying ages. My oldest sister's 9 years older than me. So, we used to go out and play Kirby, and then I would sit with my big sisters. I've spoken about Michelle to you before, you're aware. So Michelle and Tracy, and Tracy's my oldest sister, we would sit and we would play Switch and Rummy and Scabby Queen till like 4 and 5 in the morning. And I was thinking about it, and I think I'm trying to make sense of why at this time of year do I always start going down. I really struggle with this time of year, even though
I think that's a big thing. There's a lot of people, especially in recovery. There's a lot of people get triggered by Christmas.
I don't know if it's. I try not to make sense of it, because I end up back down dark places.
Maybe I'm not meant to make sense. Do you know what I mean?
I constantly try and make sense. How does that happen? And for many years, I was always having to put reasons. And you've spoke to me, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, is what it is. Don't know why that is. Don't know how I end up talking like that. I don't know how some days I want to battle the full of the land and other days I want to pray for them. I don't know how that is. I just know that that's what makes me now. Yeah. And I'm no apologising for me.
No,
you know
but
what I mean?
You're in a position now where you've got that inner strength, where you're confident. I think what you've got, what you probably didn't have a wee bit, it's a bit of self-esteem. I had false confidence. You've always been confident. I've always had the false bravado and the masks to play with, but I've got a bit of self-worth now. I know who I am now, and I sometimes used to get scared to say this, but
I'm not taking the opinions of people that don't know nothing about me.
No.
Like really, they know a perspective that's put out there, or they know a
And
narrative.
social media presence, do you know what I mean? It's like you're a different person. That, like you do things, you kind of it's a character, isn't it? People say your character while you're doing your comedy and stuff, and they think that's you. Do you know what I mean? Or they think they see you acting, and then it's like it's mad.
But
so
now I think for a long time I used to justify that, or I'd be humble. I can't make jokes about this, or I can't do this. And then I watched my pals that do it, and I'm thinking, do you know what? They're doing jokes and things like that, and do you know, and I'm taking it too personal. And the reason I'm getting attacked is because, well, the reason I used to get attacked more and there was an ongoing thing is because I played the game. You know, I bought into it.
Aye.
Whereas my pals are just like, no answering that, Dafty. Whereas I'd be like, right, Dafty, how far you want to go with this? Let me slaughter you, your ma, your dad, your cat, your auntie. And now I'm all right with that. And I've not changed in the sense where I like everybody, or I love everything, or I don't like, I do dislike people. I just don't shout about it. But in my childhood, what I liked about it was you could have banter with somebody. The world now is so serious, man. You know, everything somebody's got to be, when you're arguing with somebody or you're having something, you said that about his ma, and actually that's not anything to do with me, but my ma's like that and that annoyed me. We'll go to counselling then and give me peace, because it's not my problem. And I've got a bit of that attitude back, but I'm glad I've not got the recklessness, self-worth and the damage. But as you said, back to my childhood, I looked at it all. There was a lot of dark times, right? And I've spoken about them in many podcasts, and I've just got to the point I don't want to keep highlighting that.
No,
you know, but I've got...
It's done, and as much as, like you call them survivors, do you know what I mean? And I obviously know what trauma is, but there is a part where you need to go...
Enough.
You need to accept it. And it's not... some people go, like, how can you tell me to accept that? And I'm like, look, I'm not... If you want to keep... I'll feel sorry for you, like, and I'll pray for you, and I'll wish you all the best for afar. But I can't, like, you need to accept the reality. If you want to keep going down this road, you're going to end up self-destruct. It
was somebody that said to me that had been through a lot, but they do really well, and they're quite a big thing with. And they said to me, do you sit with 5 people that co-sign your stuff?
Yeah.
Then you'll go back to where you were. And if you sit with 5 people who want to change your stuff, who want to ask you what your dreams and your aspirations are, want to help you move, then you'll move. But what I did was I kept, I'm a scheme mate. I don't need to sit anywhere. No. I wouldn't sit at a table with 5 people calling me names and sit there all night because I was there first. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit on a social media platform and sit there because I was there first. Do you know what I mean? No. I'm going to move.
For the schemes, I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and I was saying, like, Scotland's a weird place, man. See if you said, like, say I said to you, I want to be, I'm going to pack everything in and I want to be a ballet dancer, right? Most people would be like,
I need bother, Sean, what you
see
doing?
if I was good at it, right? And it was what I do. You should get behind your pal.
Everybody gets behind you on
lots
of ways.
I can fight like fuck and I can sell this amount of drugs. And that. People are, that's the way Scotland is. That's the way Scotland's
I pumped off the tune. You're like, what do you want? Apart from the clap.
I know.
And not just a clap, the actual one. Do you know what I mean? But
it's a weird
it's the same when I used to make a comedy about folk that meant to be a face or that G word that I hate, right? I was taking the rip at it. I wasn't like, let me hang about and swag it. I was taking the rip at that for a young lassie. I didn't like team mentality. I didn't like folk that threw their weight about. I didn't like guys. I know obviously women do it too, but I didn't like guys that went with multiple women and thought they were some sort of hard man. I'm like, right, make her stay for a year and then maybe I'll have a conversation with you. I took the rip at them, and lots of ways I became the alpha hangway that go, you're going to come into a party with your swagger, your tan and your teeth and that, and I'm going to destroy you in 2 seconds in pure words. Like when you put the boot in you, like, guys.
But a lot of guys that have even got that.
They're insecure.
I've got loads of pals that are off of different. Same as
I'm not
yourself,
talking about pals again.
Right,
always get accused of all sorts for talking about pals.
For all over different places, right? And whatever their business is their business, and whether people agree with it or not, it's not for me to say. Everybody's got a story and everybody's got a backstory, and if you want to look into people's
if you're brought up in a real scream, you're going to know people that have took different paths in life,
and everybody's got a backstory, so it's not, you can't you can't like out everybody and you without knowing their story. You know what I mean? And I always kind of, I think if you're an empath, I think you are.
Aye.
You kind of want to
Help folk.
and understand them and maybe like help folk and push people in the right direction. Do you know what I mean?
I've helped loads of people that I would never take the credit for taking, because to me it's a God job now. I do believe that when people level up, and if I help somebody and they level up, then the universe or God or whatever you want to call it will then level me up. I don't need to scream about and try and push somebody down for a position because I'm not there yet. Do you know what I mean? And I never ever did anything I did for status. I did it because I love doing it. I like making people laugh.
And
you know what I mean? So I like doing that. And
it's something that it's like, if you've got a talent and you don't use it, then what
you're limiting yourself for somebody else that's probably got 1,000 talents that they don't utilise, and that's why they hate
definitely.
you.
I mean, how many people do you know that have got amazing talents, right? And
don't
even
use
people
them.
that are criminals and stuff, if they were to put that same mentality, what they can do into a business model.
Listen, I was talking to a mate recently that has got loads of talents. Like, they can do murals, they can fling a decking up in 2 seconds. They can sing, they can act, they can dance, and totally destroyed, but they've not put any because the scheme, like, it's even like, don't buy a grass. What's a grass? What is a grass? Somebody that's not willingly go and horn me and stuff. That's not me. I was always a grass, by the way, and I've put that out anywhere. And folk think I joke when I say that. But I used to say to my mates, you're dating, by the way, and I'm telling them where you stay, where you're hiding out, what your hair colour is, and what pair of trainers you're going, because I'm not going anywhere for nobody. And I said that for you. I was never a team mentality, but what we were talking about when we were younger, I think that's why we get so triggered with modern social media, right? Somebody called you a rake of names. It was open season for you to call them what you like because they deserved it. Now it's like, I know they said that to you, but you didn't need to burn the front door down. You know what I mean? I don't mean literally, by the way. I just mean in words. But it's all right for them to come and keep going. And now we're in a society where somebody can sit and go, but when you eventually go, what's that? Imagine you doing that. Hold on. They've been sitting poking me in the arm for about 5 days. Do you know? So I don't really, I watch social media for the distance now because I'm no part of the circus. I don't engage. I never wanted to be near him. I know there's another side of TikTok where people do really well for it, and there's a different side of it. But as in the kind of platform I was in, I don't want to be identified. When folks say to me in the street, oh, you're doing for TikTok, I want to die inside. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's not what I set out today. Do you know what I mean? But it's not that I'm better than them days. It's like I feel I'm better than my next day, do you know?
See social media, see if people are good at it. Like, we had Emma Cassidy on here the other week. She's like, see the stuff she knows about algorithms. She's amazing at it. Like, so why would she be like helping people and doing things? And that's why she's got her own wee company and all that now. But you get a lot of people that are on social media who could be good, like just talking and stuff, and it's just in the boxes that are quite funny. And people training at that, and it's no my gig. Like, I don't. No. TikTok's one of the platforms that I kind of try and stay away from.
I do watch it, and I don't.
I'll put videos at myself.
I don't shoot people down. I'll maybe make comedy. I'll maybe make comedy out of things, but I don't shoot people down anymore. I used to, and I'm not saying I didn't. I used to go work at that. If it's nothing to do with me, it's not affecting my life, then I'll maybe have the opinions. And the thing is about social media, if you're going to put things out on social media,
of course, you're putting your head above a
parapet. You're putting your stuff out there, but it's like that's what I was pining for. When we were younger, you could sit in a gaff, you could have a bad night, fight with your pal, right? You fight with your pal, and it'd be disaster to Monday, and then on Monday when you would all straightened up and all that, you'd be like, do you know what? I was out of order saying that about your ma. No, what I mean, saying that about you, and I wasn't phoning your sister. You know, all the kind of things, and you can all sort it out under the radar. There's no hang with now when you do something. I feel really sorry for the younger generation that are videoing themselves doing everything, right? Because really that's what young folk did, and worse, right? But because it's on a big wide screen where everybody and their dog can have an opinion, and the most folk that have the most opinion is the folk that's done it and some. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, imagine you commenting, I mean, when you done. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's where I miss. I was looking at my childhood actually not that long ago, because I still do counselling for trauma, because I do believe counselling is something you maybe always need to revisit in your life. I don't think it never really, in my opinion, for me, gets fully fixed. And I think I was always looking to be fixed. And that's what brought me back to being broken again, because I could never get that quite that eclipse, that
Complete
feeling of
kinda,
wholeness.
aye.
And I had to realise that I don't think anybody has that. I think you have moments where you're doing really, really well and you feel good about yourself and you feel whole and you're maybe in love and you've maybe got a good partner and you look about you and you're grateful, and then there's days you've got to remind yourself what you did have, what you could have, and that small period has got to sail you through that. But the thing about my childhood was it wasn't easy in lots of ways, but it was probably standard for the 90s. Although I did go through childhood abuse.
Yeah.
I did have a good family, you know. I had they were mental, and my kids' generation, they've all got a group chat with the cousins, like, your family's wild, you know what I mean? They're like my wains and my sister's wains, because they're all dead close and they've all got their own group chat. And they're like, it's wild when you think about it. And like, my niece was saying to me when she was through as well, she's like, I tell folks some of the stories about what you and my mum and that, and the stories, and they go, you could write a book, you know what I mean, about your family, because people don't get it. But what I miss more, seeing the run up to Christmas, you were running all your aunties, right? You went shop, fair enough, you'd probably get the social work now if your auntie telling you out and get pissed, you know what I mean?
I know.
But they would go up to like the Christmas market and all that, which was buzzing back then, which was massive.
It was,
you know what I mean?
It's a lot. There's loads of people have said it on here, Dee. It's there's a lack of that self,
that community.
It's a way to,
you're all stuck in your head in a phone, thinking somebody else is living better than you.
See where I live, right? I mean, I've got it's quite a good wee area I live in, but it's I don't know him, I don't know it, and I've been there like a year and a half now. We say hi and just like, but the place I was in before, it was a much kind of smaller house, and it was in a wee bit of, I don't know, I wouldn't even say rougher, I would just say it was a wee bit more kind of, the houses weren't as expensive, and I'm not saying my house is expensive now, it's no, but I'm just meaning like they were.
You're just raising in case somebody goes, who do you think is? Because he's got a nicer house now.
I swear to God, it's actually not, it's just an ex-council house now, but before that, it was like I was like a wee 2-bedroom one that we lived in, and but we knew everybody around about, right? And it was that sense of community. It was a wee bit there, like even though but I don't know if it's because we knew them, or I don't know, but that we had everybody at the back, we all kind of knew, and you would come out in the summer sometimes, and you'd be talking for hours. Do you know what I mean? I don't see any of that.
But that's what I think was good about it. There was no listen. The telly was only worth watching when you come in for school for the hour and a half or something of cartoons. Then you went out with your mates. You couldn't rearrange things. You couldn't not get bothered or say I'll be there in half an hour, because there was a meeting point. And if you didn't all get there, then somebody was getting left behind, because we were away on our bikes because we'd already waited 10 minutes for you. Do you know what I mean? And then you had to play catch up and try and see if you can find us in my favourite places. We would all be, none of us would be stalking and annoying adults in McDonald's. I still don't get that, right?
No.
But we would be out in the woods, right? And we weren't updating. Right, we maybe be playing Kiss, Cuddle or Torture, or manhunts and playing 2-man hunt and all that, right? And it maybe be snapping the odd tree. Sorry for the tree lovers out there, right? But maybe snapping the odd tree. But we were free, man, and they don't have that. That's what I think's really. They're all online, and some folk making crazy money. But are you happy?
No.
Because money, I know I've had money. And it was the darkest time in my life. And I'm not saying that I don't want money again, because people lie about that.
Yeah, of course.
I obviously do want to be financially secure and, get back to a place where if I want to go away and go for a spa day because I think I'm something, do you know what I mean? Go for a full works of the £200 voucher and lie next to the pool. I absolutely love that. That's the snob in me. I always liked it. I always thought, my mum was like, you think you're chocolate, you eat yourself. I was like, aye, Galaxy, smooth and silky, mum. You know what I mean? So I loved all that, but I loved the fact that we didn't know the difference. I had pals that had nothing, and I had pals that had everything, do you know, and we all hung about together. And the pal that had everything, they bought the 20 Regal, and they didn't think about asking for it back, and they didn't hold it against you. And when they fell out with you next year, they didn't go, I brought 20 Regal every week, and she smoked most of them, and now she's not my pal. None of that mentality was there, and I meet people from my area. Loads. I've got they laugh, see when it gets put out about me being ganking, all that stuff. They piss themselves because I hated all that life. I was a lone ranger. I could fight and handle myself. I came for a scheme, but I loved drama. I used to be in a drama group. What was it called again? The Valley Art Drama Group, right? And I used to love it. Went every Wednesday, you know what I mean? And I was in the swimming squad at school as well. At school, at the pool, and I couldn't level up in that because my mum was working too much. And before I would have resented her and said she wouldn't attend me anywhere. But my mum actually worked crazy hours, 50 hours in a factory, and she had 4 weans. So taking me out to Largs at 6 o'clock in the morning wasn't feasible because you had to go to, once you levelled up in the swimming squad, you'd need to go to Largs, and I think you had to go to Salkits. I'm not too sure, but you had to go to 3 different pools and you had to be there for 6 in the morning before school. You know, so it wasn't feasible.
I can't remember that. I can't remember that a few lassies that used to
and I used to do violin lessons on a Monday night. I went to Irish dancing on a Tuesday night. And then and the trauma just obviously triggered, which I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And I found that these voices in my head that were telling me I was damaged, I was fat. And I mean, the person that done that to me had been calling me fat and ugly and all that for a young age. So it's nothing new to me when people call me that online. It's like, you're a wee bit 20 years, 30 years too line. But I think I still don't regret all that because all that happened, right? And then I go to social media, my ego went massive. My ego was bigger than Pat Butcher's ego. You know what I mean? I'm like, Dee Maxwell, you know what I mean? Facebook, you know. And I did need to be brought down as much as back then, if you said, listen, this is meant to happen, I'd have punched somebody for saying, what? This is meant to happen? Folk accuse me of doing this and doing that, and I'm lying in my house and 1 step away from a food bank. You know, you're all right. But it all happened because it broke all that damage. It fixed all that. It didn't fix it. It helped all that stuff come to the surface. It made me take a really good look at who I actually was. Know who I've pretended my whole life to be, because I've pretended to be hard. I've pretended to be. I hated fighting, but I made it. I loved it. What I was. You know what I mean? I didn't like going out with multiple men, but I thought it was expected of me because my childhood and what happened to me. I didn't know that I was allowed to say no. I didn't know that if the next charmer came along, I was allowed to go, listen, you've been with everything in the town and I don't want to get with you. I didn't know that I was allowed that. So the last couple of years, it's freedom to know I can be who I, and you know what? I don't need people to like me. And I used to say I didn't care, but I needed acceptance. I'm a chronic people pleaser. They say in recovery that it's a big thing about addiction, that you need to everybody to like you and be accepted. But I used to say I don't care. And I can honestly say the day, no, next month I might, right? Because I can change my stuff, right? But the day, I absolutely don't care who likes me. And you know, that's what makes me no want to go and do horrible things. They say you can't push somebody to a breakdown. You can't push somebody to unalive themselves. It's an absolute lie. You can absolutely push people to the brink. And the very people that push folk to the brink like that are the very people that cry and get upset when it becomes their turn, when the full circle of the universe comes round and starts calling them names that they're no true, says things about their family and their friends that's no true. You know what I mean? And then when that full circle comes, but my childhood had its really dark period, but it had family to unity. I would go to my Uncle Jim's every weekend and watch Brookside Ghosts, you know what I mean? All right, says that Jimmy Coffey. You know what I mean? And do you know what's really good about it, Sean, is getting the healing that I've done and been through it, I can see the good stuff in my life now. It was all marred with all the bad stuff because I'd never get any healing. I'd never went, do you know what? I'm really upset about my childhood. I'm really upset about my life. I'm really upset about the domestic stuff I went through when I was older. You know, and a lot of people say, oh, domestic abuse isn't just about being hurt.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Coercive, the mental torture I went through for a long time because I thought I loved somebody, breaking me down to nothing, do you know what I mean? But then being terrified and then getting back into that damaged thing. But the good thing about it now is being able to look at my childhood and smile, because there's been right good times, like right good days with my sisters and my cousins, and my wee cousins used to go, oh no, there's Dee coming, because I was always swaggering about, thinking I was the show and that, you know what I mean? But then when I was hanging about with my pals, we used to go to a local pub called the Bowery. Absolutely loved it. Darts, pools, all the boys. Don't get me wrong, you could get a smoke better in there than you could get a drink, right? But everybody was chilled, you know what I mean? There was no fights, nobody got bothered, they were just munchied, you know what I mean? And you would get the wee pie, and like Diane would be behind the bar, and my mate Cameron's granny would be behind it, and it was ran itself. It was one of the pubs. You didn't get... Kilburnie wasn't a place that you go to the post back then. I know they said that, but there wasn't somewhere, and it wasn't horrible either. It was like they didn't... You broke into somebody's house in Kilburnie, you better hope the post get you first, right? So it was like that kind of vibe, and I still liked that because it still had an accountability to a degree. But my childhood was very, very tough in lots of ways, but when I look at life now with Wayne's, I still feel I get the better deal as much as it was marred with that abuse. Take that abuse away. Take that one person out of my life.
And it was a good childhood.
It could have been so different.
So see when you were kind of growing up and maybe you were in the child and you went through school and all that, right? Where did kind of that life lead you? Where did that life go after school? Because it was kind of was it just mostly just normal? Just as you say, like
nah.
I
tried to run away. I learnt that, and it's a hanger again because I sound like one of the recovery buffs, but I do like my recovery. But people, places, and things, you think moving doesn't change your head. If you've not done the work on you, I really have worked on myself. I've stayed single for nearly 5 years. I am not saying that I've not messed up in the senses I've went out there and done what adults did way back, but for the last year, totally no men in my life because I had to admit I had nothing to offer.
Aye.
Now, it's this all right pretty face in some opinion, no so pretty right, but whatever. But in my opinion, having a look and having like most people go, wow, she's dead together. But some days I'm no together. Some days I'm no totally get my stuff together. So it
people
changed.
Don't understand they can hurt, like as much as like, I swear, like I don't know if it's just because I get ran through the mill with a daily record and I had it bad at one point with the media. You can't really get much worse than that when the national press turn on you. So
been there.
Do you know? So I think when that happens to you, like I honestly like couldn't see the trolls and that. I just genuinely don't even look now. I don't even look at the comments. But if you do see the odd wee one, you can go like that. Like, and especially like sometimes that's what I was saying to you. You know, I think the ones that you know when it's somebody that knows you, because it's stuff that they say that you go, they know that. So that's obviously something that's. And it's as if, like, it's weird.
They've not even got much they can... I didn't do anything other than throw my weight about a bit. Thought I was a bit of a G. You know what I mean? Thought I did a bit of this and that. Thought I was... And I wasn't any different for the people to say it.
Aye.
So the people that are say it have probably done worse than me. That's the perspective I put on it now. Some people are jealous of me. Other people are irritated with me. And both are all right now. Both of them are all right.
It's all right. As we were talking about, we know like loads of people that we know together, but in separate kind of things. But I get some of them I like, some of them you don't. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we're saying. And some of them you like, and I don't like. Do you know? So it's like you can't, especially the TikTok world and all that, and you can't take somebody for that space because people are creating characters and they're not really who that is. You know what I mean?
It's like. I've said about my sister. Me and my sister, we are really close because we're close in age, right? And we were best pals as well as sisters growing up. And see, even when we were younger, she really liked folk that I couldn't even be in the airspace with. I mean, I know my sister used to have to stand between me and her pals sometimes because I wanted to do them, and she's like, "You're not doing it because they're my pal." And then she'd go, "What you doing hanging about with her?" You know what I mean? But we were really vocal about it then, and the pal would be standing there like, "Sake," you know what I mean? Now we just say it to each other, don't bring them in about me, I can't stand them. You know, so it's no change because nobody's going to tell me who to like. I will give everybody face value. I've been bit 1,000 times. I should have scars up and down my arms with the people I've tried to help probably when I couldn't help myself, and when I was helping myself, tried to help and still get bit. But I'll just take the bites, put a plaster on and still try and help somebody else. It's
internal wounds, Dee, and I think what you've done is you've went away and you have done a lot of work on yourself, do you know what I mean? And you can see it, do you know what I mean? Of course, I've got a void. Obviously we'll talk about, I've got a void that I don't know how to fill, right? And I don't know how to get rid of that.
Do you want Jesus?
I know, listen, I know,
See if Jesus will fill that void for you. I'm like, sorry, bro, go.
You know Whitey, Jamie? You know Jamie, didn't you?
Aye, Jamie's my bro.
Jamie's always
it's my brother.
I love Jamie.
I love Jamie, I know.
You need God in your life, And like, he'll fill that.
He'll put it right into you like Glasgow style, you know what I mean? Really, I kick that God right into your head.
He's so, like, honestly, I know, because I was in with Jamie.
I don't know Jamie apart from as a brother, not I mean.
I loved him the way he was before, but like I'm so proud of him the way he's done.
We just laugh, see, as soon as I'm in Jamie's company, because we're quite similar. And then I'll say something, I was like, "Shut it, I'll do." He's like, "It's not very godly like the, you know, what you just said, wasn't he?" So we can actually Yeah, but I love him. He's got a heart of gold,
Oh,
man.
he has. That's one thing he's always had. He's always had the heart of gold.
I don't think you can really change that in somebody.
No.
I think if you like Jesus and God and that, right? I think he can cultivate you into a better version of yourself, but I don't think he can. Maybe I'm wrong, all my Christian brothers say, well, he can do it, he's a miracle worker, right? But there's sometimes I see and I go, you're always probably got to do that sin and just ask for so I think to start with a good heart, because I always, if you knew me, because folk would laugh and go, geez, no, he's got a heart of gold, man, she'd feed you before she would do it, and you know what I mean? But at the same time, if you'd seen the other kind of dark side and want to feed me fella, you know what I mean? So it was all different interpretations, but Jamie, I think everybody, I'll always have an emptiness because I've been through some stuff, injustices and stuff.
And I think, I think Machiavelli says it, and I'm obsessed with his work in the way that I think if you read like The Art of War and The Prince that he wrote, it's like a playbook on how to hurt people and stuff like that. He's so good at like knowing the dark arts kind of thing. And he says, if you want to really hurt somebody, give them a sense of injustice that they can't get over. So I've done some like volunteering at the Miscarriage of Justice organisation, and I love everybody in that organisation. It's like a family. But there's some people in there that it's so hard to watch. Like we'll sit and we'll go over things and we'll speak, and it always ends up going back to like their individual case, right? And I always try and kind of say, look, we need to accept it. I'm not saying accept that, because you never will. You never will accept a miscarriage. It's impossible to. And it hurts. It does hurt. And it's one of the ones where I've had to accept it a lot. And I've said this in loads of podcasts. It was Fiona that said to me at a visit in a jail, she says, I don't know, I must have been up to high dough, and she was like, this is going to kill you, man. She's like, you need to accept this. And I was like, what? What do you mean accept? How do I do it? How do you accept it? I didn't know what she was talking about at the time. I didn't know about
It's even like the stuff that I've been through is a smaller scale online. Like somebody brought me to my absolute knees on fabrication and lies and came with a swarm together. And often they'll say, are you talking about me? I'll never give you that validation so that you can then go again for me. Do you know what I mean? But they swarmed at me through social media. They brought me to my knees, and I know because of people that spoke to them behind, they enjoyed watching me fall, right? They watched me go, and I allowed it because I was the one that then just gave up everything to go back with that pride. They go, why are you talking to? And start talking like a feral rat in my 40s while I've got three veins that are affront it. You know, I made that decision, and that's a hard thing to take because before but they dragged it out me, and they say, no, I have a choice.
Yeah.
I have a choice to care. You know, and that's what's liberating about the day. So see even
that's a difference.
See what the good thing about my heart is and all. See that same person, they were getting accused of being all sorts, even didn't even been a PDF file. I actually felt sorry for them. And I get raging at myself. I'm like, they loved watching you. In fact, they loved that you were nearly at a bridge. They enjoyed every minute of that. They sit with the big eye at you. And then I thought to myself, do they really? Are they just as lost as what I was? And then I start putting compassion. So I would give you a good heart any day.
You're no healthy and regulated that if you want to sit on social media and say crazy things about people. It's no... Doesn't come for a healthy emotional
and even sitting on social media like I did all day going, wait till I tell you about my wonderful life. How have you been able to have that wonderful life? You've been live for 14 hours with a couple of toilet breaks. How have you had a wonderful life? How did you manage to get to Barbados and back in that time? Do you know what I mean? When I look back, I'm like, but it isn't until you step out it. I'm not saying it's no healthy. I'm not saying there's no people out there that do it for marketing and they do it. But people are sitting there and their bums no moved. And if they're no on live, they're away seeing what everybody else is saying about them. That's no healthy. I don't care who you are. It wasn't healthy for me. If it's healthy for you, you've got a different idea of healthy to me. No. But it's no healthy.
I think you can see the strong people on social media. See, like we Emma Cassidy and that.
I don't know Emma, I don't think.
So Emma's like...
But then I don't go round the big circuit at social media.
Emma's got, I think it's like 500,000 followers or something on TikTok. She's big. I've
probably seen her. Do you know I'm terrible with names.
Blonde lassie does. She's got that boy Joe Colby that does the. Joe's actually a good boy. I know he's does the stuff there, and he's a bouncer there, and calls himself the boss. He like call it the boss in Magaluf and all that. But it's a character he's built. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Is that the guy with the dodgy haircut? It's like a flathead.
Maybe, aye. He's actually quite a good looking boy, Joe.
But they're younger than me, aren't they? They're a bit younger.
Well, Joe's my age. Joe's.
Is he? Tell us what that haircut is.
Or something. I know. But Emma's younger. Emma's 24, 25.
Do you know what I've probably? Do you know, because I don't really. I do get immersed, but I get immersed for the wrong things, and I can see when I'm getting unhealthy because then I'm watching too much. And I do have people that just do everyday jobs and all that and don't want to do what I do, right? Like that. I've been on social media and they sit in boxes and I do like them and I'll go and sit with them. I'll go and sit with my wee pal KK and all that, and I'll just go and sit, and there's another wee guy that he does like wee funny videos and all that, Hash and all that, and I'll sit and with them, and they came for
me a few times in lives, do you know what I mean? Because I don't do a lot, right? But I'll sometimes go on a live and talk about maybe jail and try and open people's minds up things. And listen, it's if people want to come on, it's always a free platform to me. I don't care about if you want to write or want to come in and speak about, have your opinion. But I always try and make it a kind of healthy conversation. I don't like anybody coming in, and I will just kick them out if it goes that way. Where
Listen,
it's kind of hanging,
I like health conversations, but I'm not going to sit here in live. There's a big rucks going on, and I'm sitting there crocheting, and there's no box set on. I'm like, who's sleeping with what? Who's saying what? And she went with who? And who's got a baby? What? No. No, I mean, we all loved it back in the day when Big Brother just started. I mean, TikTok's free.
I know.
You're getting free Big Brother style stuff, controversy. You're absolutely right.
Like real, I know.
But is it real? Is it real? And I've never seen postcodes getting flung about in my life the way I see them. Here's your postcode. I'm like, I never used to do that. I used to just rock up because I usually knew what it's like, you know what I mean? But I'm like, postcodes, but I think that's what I'm in such a, as I said, a day, I laugh at it now because it's not my life and I'm no better than anybody. And that's one thing I learned. I thought I was a bit, look at me, you know what I mean? But
no, to catch up, see your ego, see like.
Oh, your ego's going to get smashed in all the time.
If somebody stops me in the street, right, and asks me for that, and it doesn't happen a lot, but I'm just meaning somebody who's, oh, sure, I really like your podcast, can I get a photo? I feel a bit like as if like, why?
The train driver stopped me.
I know.
This morning in the way in, you know what I mean? He's like, Dee, he says, my wife phones you, is there any chance you can FaceTime her? And it's a point I went, no, I'm busy, I'm on the way to podcast. You know what I mean? But I was like, I no bother. And he stopped and she's like, oh, do you know, I love you. But I also see that as wee God jobs because for a long time, because I listened to the same engine, I thought, I'm this, I'm that, I'm horrible, I'm all these things, and before I knew it, I was nearly leaning. In the reality, I was nearly leaning three ways.
Do you know Carol Jung's work? Who talks about synchronicity and stuff?
Aye.
So I believe like the universe will fling people in your road.
Yeah.
To see if you want, you can either take it on or you can't. Right? It's like so they fling people into your life to test you, right? And it's like you'll get it all the time, and you don't even notice it. But you'll end up talking to somebody, and they'll go, oh, I know so-and-so, and you're like, can I know him? And then before you know it, it's like, that's a potential podcast or whatever, do you know what I mean? And it's just come out of nowhere, or... But
it's even like that the other day, it was like even, what do you call it, a few things happened in the last fortnight that tested me. I was speaking to that, and I didn't react to why I've normally, or I just went... And it's so hard when you've been brought up in a scream when you've been taught, no, you don't take hate off anybody, and I'm like, but I don't, because I don't want see the thing is, once you react, that reaction's like throwing a stone in the water. That ripple goes on for weeks even when you forgot about it. So when you're reacting and you're like, well, I'm doing all right now, why does this keep coming up? Because you threw that stone in the water and that ripple's still going. You might have changed your course, but that ripple's still in the water. So you're either going to have to keep ignoring that or you're going to throw another stone, then you'll have to go through that ripple or that tidal wave. So now I'm like, do I really need to react to this? Does it really mean something to me to look like I walked away for something that to other folk might make me look like, oh, she back down there?
No,
back down for what?
Exactly.
Back down for what?
I caught Game of Thrones before?
I got back down for an argument with somebody that means nothing to me.
I know. No, definitely. I seen Game of Thrones, right? There's a bit in it when Tywin Lannister, right?
I dressed up as Khal Drogo. I need to show you that.
And Jaime Lannister comes in and he's like, they keep calling me the Kingslayer and that. And his dad's like, why are you listening to him? And he's like, I'm just saying, like, they keep, and he's like, the lion doesn't hang himself with the sheep, something like that. He doesn't care what the sheep says or something. And then he says something and Jamie Lannister kind of says, so that the lion does bother me what the sheep says, and he pure fucking does that with me. Cleaver both. He's like, no, you've got it wrong, but what he's trying to say is true. I believe like there's a sheep mentality out there, Dee, right? And it's no nice to watch sometimes, but people will just go with the flow, right? And people just go with...
Yeah, but it's the same as back in the school. I'd never sat with a bully, right? Just so I didn't get bullied, right? But it's quite similar a lot on social media when somebody's quite controversial. You allow them to do a lot so they don't turn on you.
Aye,
you know, and there's a lot of people go, oh, I'm actually better sitting with them than what I'm being against them.
Aye.
And although I don't really like them, and then before you know it, they've twisted enough heads to really hate the person that isn't actually the problem.
I know.
You know, so I just go, now you don't like me, join the queue. That queue's been forming for I was about 11-year-old. You know, I was never somebody that was dead popular in the sense, so I had a lot of friends, but I didn't have a lot of friends.
I know what you mean.
You know, and I've always been outspoken. And I did all that done even when I went into recovery. I had human beings telling me, you need to behave like this, you need to do this, and still to a degree I get that. But see, the thing is, when I go that, whether it's God, universe, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. For me, it's God, right? Mm-hmm. He teaches me that I don't need to be anything else but me.
Of course.
I don't need to hurt anybody, but I also don't need to limit myself so that somebody else feels comfortable.
No, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
I think you know some of the same people I know who are great people to listen to and great people to bring you down to the...
And he's meaning God people, by the way, before we
no,
get
I actually see James that. I'm not saying second, but James that. But
he's one of the folk a day message from my head's getting messy because he knows it can be like 2 seconds. Sometimes it's not even a sentence. Sometimes it's just a video that puts into perspective what I'm thinking.
I know he does that with me.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not like great. It's just like, and it can be one sentence or...
He's always got great.
And it's just puts you just, I don't know what it is, I just feel, I think it's just because they get you know what I mean? You're like, right, they're not condemning you for having that thought. No. They're just going, right, well, that thought is pretty radical, right? So let's see where that's coming from.
That's not an option, right?
That's not an option.
Right?
Let's not do that, you know what I mean? So, but and you'll go through life. I went through my whole life because I'm quite out there, I'm quite a big personality, and I did shift that down in it, and it makes me upset that I felt that I had to do that because I don't need to. I get into a room and I don't like somebody, then I can leave it. So see if you don't like me, you're more than happy to just keep scrolling or no like me. I don't need.
Oh, because you know what I mean? You're like obviously you've done James English podcast, you've done like.
Well, I don't know how it's a good thing now, is it?
No, I know.
I'm only kidding.
Well, listen, it is what
done them all.
I know.
I think I've done them all. I think there's only been a few. I did knock one's back and I did knock yours back for a while, but that was just because I wasn't in.
Of course.
I was healing and I wasn't coming.
I'd rather have you the way you are than now. Like,
and even though when you look at them all, you'll see the differences and all that, but it's because I've been changing and healing and having a different perspective, you know what I mean? But all of them that I've been on, I've maybe avoided the truth with some things. Mm-hmm. I've never lied about it either, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
I think some cause of the way I talk, some people think there's a big hidden corner. There's no hidden corners. Go to Kilburnie, they'll tell you, she thought she was a ticket. The one thing they couldn't say about me was I was not a good mum. I was always a good mum. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you ask all the right people, at least go in the half the tune, because there is a few of them that go, she's this. Oh, I think she is something. I remember my brother was bumping, you know what I mean? So there is going to be that.
You have a few people driving down to Kilburnie now.
Let's go in our tune and video them all. You know what I mean? And all the right ones will commit. But I think even recovery's taught me, Sean, that I don't care. I don't have time anymore. My oldest is 23 and just qualified for a degree. She's out in Africa, like helping Wayne's, and you know, and but like that, she was that age. Yep. You know, I was always going to sort this out then. I was always going to, and before I knew it, my daughter's a young woman, and I don't have the time to get any of that back. No, I'm not saying that I wasn't there, because I was. We went on loads of holidays. I loved them. Then I would. They know. The three of them will say, "Yeah, there's one thing I always know my mum loved," but they watch me not love myself.
Which is the
you know
big
what I mean?
Because it's, have you ever read a book called Untethered Soul? Michael Singer.
Mm-hmm.
See the bit when he's talking about like that voice in your head, and he says, "Get a name." Mm-hmm. He's like, listen to it for 2 hours, and just go, would I hang about with a person like that? And you wouldn't,
no,
right? You would see that voice. That
would you call somebody else that?
Would you? The things you say to yourself are horrible, right? And it's once you read that book and he kind of finishes it up by just saying, like, you really need to detach that. You need to change the narrative that lie in your head.
Course, it's why I've got such hang me about nurturing ways, making sure you know they're loved. For a young age, I felt I was in the road, felt I wasn't enough. I was told by a certain adult in my close family that I was, and he isn't blood related to my family, was married in, without identifying him completely, but it's no any of my uncles or my aunties or any of that sort of life, do you know what I mean? And he told me for a young I was fat, I was ugly, I needed to stop eating, and who's going to want a lassie like me? I'm statey, you're only an idiot, you'll never make nothing of yourself, you're stupid. That's why I hate the word idiot, although I use it a lot. You're an idiot, you'll be nothing. My sister, by the way, if you ever meet her, don't ever use the word idiot. The table might get flipped right because she still get that thing.
She does. But an idiot, man.
I know, she's very clever, but
very switched on.
Aye, but she's Disney hates that word, right? But for a young age, people will say to me now, and look, you're actually really naturally quite a good looking woman, and I'm like, and I still don't believe that because of that narrative for I was young age. But what I do believe is, for the inside, it shines now. It's no dirty down. It's no hang with an ego or a swagger or over sexuality. Aye. It's getting none of that now. It's a pure energy, and it might still not be liked by folk, but do you know what it is? Is I like it. I like who I've become. I like what I've seen now. So, and people that's run about me that you know, some of the names like Jamie, they like me for who I am now. I'm authentically became and becoming the person that I was meant to be before all those dark energies came in and made me hard and closed my heart and made me act more. I mean, I could be sexualised all day, but don't ask me to be vulnerable and love you.
No,
you know, so all these things
but
that
you
were
support
altered.
A lot of people. What you do is, I mean, like, you didn't. I mean, you travelled up miles to come up and see me in Jordan's event. Do you know what I mean? And support us. You share a lot of stuff. You do like it's.
That was a wee amends and that. Know what I mean? Me and
Five-O
had big beef in the past. I know what I mean. But he's brand new again. It's that thing with
that's what I'm saying. Like it's again. It's like if you have had that wee bit of beef online and then
back when I was the way I was, back when he just started out, the two of us all know the same people.
Aye, well, totally different. It's getting totally different. I love Jordan, man. He's like,
I think he's no. I think he. I mean. Maybe 5 years ago. I mean, but I actually sitting on. I thought I did go and see that podcast. Went and seen that documentary, and I really loved it. I mean, I was emotional. I was sitting there like, oh, I wish I hadn't put eyeliner on because the tears were blinding me down the side of my eyes. So and I have always supported Eton. I've always done that, and way that the ego trippers then bite me and then try and say that I was the one that I just put people out my life. I'm just like, you're just go at my life if you're going to bite me, but I'm not going to, you can sit there and go, rah, 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 rah. She done this, she done that, did I? Aye, carry on, because I'm the type of person, if I've had a union with you or a friendship with you, I'm not going to do that whole receipts. He said this, look at this in 1993. I wasn't raised like that. But
see all that stuff, I don't see, like, this is stuff that I see sometimes on TikTok and that, right? But I'm just like, I can't. I couldn't get involved in it. It was just no my thing. Like I just I'd rather have people coming in to use that platform, right? Because it's a powerful platform. Like if you start a wee box up, man, you can have sometimes you'll probably have a lot more, but sometimes 100 people in there.
I've never really had the big algorithm on. I had it in the beginning with the dancing and arguing with folk and. You know, if I press
you think TikTok pushes
they push the badness, they push the chaotic stuff, the harmful stuff, and I think it is entertainment, right, for us. But what you've got to remember is that person's, if they do make a total.
You know, I was talking to a lassie right now. I'm not going to go into it, right.
No,
some of the stuff I talk about, right. Obviously, is a bit out there, right. But it's my stuff, and I like talking about it. But anyway.
So I said you're my sister.
No, definitely. But my it doesn't hit the algorithm the same way as I see other people's things, right? So, and I sometimes get a lot of bands and things hitting me and that, right? And they took off the creative program and stuff. But I don't care. Like it is what it is. But I then watch mental things on TikTok come up my feed, and I'm like, how does that go 500,000 views?
Because it makes the
money.
money.
It should be pulled down. Like some of the stuff I'm watching like young boys gang fighting and like bad stuff that you'd like, fucking hell, man.
Of young
like,
boys getting 10 on my washing line.
Aye, bad stuff. Well, do you know, I know a lassie, right? And I met her no long ago, and she said that I found this, I couldn't believe this, right? But she says the young ones now, like 14, 13, 14, are all kind of, they all kid on about suicide and stuff, right? That's something like this, right?
No.
No, aye, right. They're all like, kill yourself. No. It's like, it's a thing, like, I can't get my head around it, right? But anyway, this lassie was telling me that a wee lassie, like, tried to kill herself, right? And I was like, oh, I was gutted for her, like, when she was telling me the story. I was like, it was really no nice. But she said when she took her phone, she was watching the stuff on TikTok, and it was all about self-harm and all that, and stuff about how self-harm's a good release. And
Oh
all
my
that.
God.
Crazy, right? And I'm like, why is this even allowed on?
But it's the same with
social media
people glorifying drugs online.
I know.
You know, it's not, I'm not saying that they should be ashamed of who they are, right? But when folk, I keep got to talking like TikTok language, like Craigite pipes and all that, and I don't need it here. I know. But it's moving away from that anyway, because the TikTok stuff is just, it is what it is, and if you buy into it, you buy into it, if you don't, you don't. But
it's in your past now,
and it's even name it, it's just do what you want, because I you can't control the narrative, but I now sit with people like my pal Danny, she's like an actress and all that, and we'll sit and we'll talk about screenwriting, and I'm so far removed. I still go and speak to people that I miss and I talk to, and I'll maybe get in their boxes, or if you come on live, like, right, I wonder what he's talking about today, because sometimes I like to have a good argument with my sister, and the only way I can get educated is listening to other folk, because she's read that many files that I can't keep up, know what I mean, so I can't argue with her, and it used to be I'd be able to argue with her all day long with things, right, so, but all joking aside, so if it's a good narrative, it's like a good live, like, another guy, Gibby, goes live. I like his kind of comedy kind of style. It's the same stuff. So I'll come and watch him, you know what I mean? But if people come in and start dropping my name, I just go to the background, because I'm like, there's something else I can watch. There's a new series coming on Netflix. I don't make money off the platform. I don't want to make money off the platform. I don't want to be a social media influencer. I want to do my acting. I want to do my comedy. I want to write stuff. I want to be on the stage again. And I want to be in plays, and I want to do. I'm not interested in that quick fix money. I've done it.
You know, I think there's a lot of people, but like even like 50 and other people that have moved away from that TikTok scene, right? And they're really creative.
Yeah,
like, that's what I see with people on TikTok.
Yeah,
that maybe have started things and
definitely.
It's probably been a good starting point.
So it's a good platform if you like. You learn not to react.
Aye.
And you learn, and I still get good views on mine. I should build another page because of the restrictions I've had with what I've said, but I can't be bothered. I'm not interested.
I know.
Because I don't need, it's a good thing to get it out there, and it's maybe a quick way. Jordan's a kind of exception because he has got something. Do you know what I mean? So he's got something to transfer. You know, he can act. He is funny. So there's a lot of them that will go so far, and then they think they'll go and do things on Instagram and they'll go nowhere.
I know.
The only reason he's gone somewhere is because he's got something, and he'd have went without TikTok. He'd have still found a way to get there.
No,
it might have been harder.
He's so creative, and he's like he's got something else at that time. Like,
and because he's super focused, and he is.
Jordan won't hide the fact that he wants to be something, and he wants to. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like he wants to be.
I don't want to
be a filmmaker. He wants to be like.
I want to do films and I want to do my acting, but I don't want to be some. The fame side of it is the stuff that really chokes me. I've probably got a bit more Liam Gallagher than I have no that way. I don't like the public side of it, but I love acting. I love making a full room laugh. I love writing and being creative. And I did feel I was a young lassie. My English teacher even stopped me in the street and went, well, you want to hurry up and put it on pen to paper and stop just putting it off the cuff. You know, and I'm writing a few things now. I've been writing a book for like 19 years because every so often they throw what happened to your book, and I just want to say what happened to your teeth. But you know, I don't engage, because if I don't want to bring that book out, if I want to even scrap that and start again, if I don't 10 years and still saying, oh, it'll be coming out next year and it doesn't come out, how does it affect you?
I know.
Do you know? So
it's people don't understand how hard it is to write about. I wrote one, and
I just keep rewriting it. I just keep rewriting it every time I change. I'm like, but I'm not really. I'm not really.
It's because you change, but
it's because you're evolving all the time. And then I look back at the first kind of. But I was blaming everybody. I was blaming Manty for giving me my first E. I was blaming this person for that. I was blaming that because that's how I did this. And then I had to realise that know that it's no horrible, all the stuff that I've been through, right? It's no nice, right? But there is people that's been through similar to me that chose to get healing quicker. That doesn't mean that I was bad or it's wrong if you go down the road of addiction because you can't cope with your trauma. That's not what I mean. But for me, the choices for me were what took me to where I was, not what people did to me. The choices are how I dealt with the triggers and that trauma. Although probably naively or young, I didn't think I had choices, right? And it probably wouldn't have made me into the person if it hadn't went that way. But now I've got choices and I know what makes me work and I know what makes me a better person. I know what gives me a clear head. I've got pals that take a smoke and they can function in life. I take a smoke, I'm underneath my table, I'm hiding, I'm paranoid, I'm about one step away from a psychotic episode, I'm greeting, I'm over sexual. There's so many different things.
That you know yourself now.
So that's not, that's
why would you do that to yourself? Because
so now I've got a pause.
Yeah.
There's an app I've got, it's called The Pause, right? And good guy to look up John Eldridge, right? It is Christian based. I'm not trying to get you out of Jesus that hang with, but
there's plenty of Christian people that are great.
Right, see it's John Eldridge and he kind of puts it into perspective, but he does an app called The Pause. And it just, for a minute, it's not even for a full 20 minutes meditation. And if just when you start to feel triggered in that, it's just, I go in that app and just a minute. Oh, it is. And sometimes I'll start to feel myself working up and I'll breathe it in and I'll go, and for the first time in my life, I think about the consequences, what my immediate reaction would create. And then I move back.
I was in, I think I must have been probably about 8 years into my settings, right? And by this time my head's fried, like I'm on all sorts of painkillers, I'm taking like Valium and stuff in the jail when I could get it. My head's wasted and somebody said to me to go to see a psychotherapist. Now I was totally like, this a lot of shit, it's pure why am I doing this? But I went to see a guy, Neil, right? A motor trans something, right? And I went in and I'm sitting and the very first day he comes in and he's saying to me, oh, well, can you ground yourself and put your feet down? And I'm like, oh, it's really annoying me, man. See that way in my head, right? He was a nice guy, but I'm going, oh, he's a mad English accent. I was like,
oh, that's a deal breaker.
But this is what I'm going, like, I'm chasing Valium and I'm wanting Valium and I'm going, this guy's trying
asking me to hold a free.
Like this guy's pure sit down and do this. Just give me the pills. That's the way I was thinking in my head. And he's like, tried to go through this step to go, that didn't work for me. But do you know what it did? Right? I swear to God, it was the first time and it was something happened and I wasn't thinking. My brain went and I realised how noisy my head was because see when I got that, like, just that break for thinking and that break for that, I was like, oh my God, like that's insane. And I only had it for like
it's not short wave where you just
seconds,
get a bit
right?
of peace.
10, 20 seconds it was, and it was like, so that was me. I was back at Neil like every week getting better at it, and it was kind of like meditation, but in a different way. Do you know what I mean? Then I done a wee bit of psychotherapy, and I could see it was working. I was still in an environment, a very harsh environment, right? So I wasn't going back to my Peter and doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was still involved with
love that word.
I was still involved with all the madness, and then, but at that point, I knew there was something that could help out with taking pills and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because if you take pills, it takes it away, but it comes
just
back
masks it.
It's
I always
totally
say,
masking.
I used an analogy for years. I've heard folk copy it. I'm not kidding, but I've used an analogy for I was a young lassie, and even I think they're called wellness nurses now, but in my day they were called community psychiatric nurses because we didn't need candy flossing my titles, right? But community psych, and I remember I saying to her, I was like, what is this all about? You're like, you're giving me at that time, it was, what do you call that? Prozac and that, you're giving me, they've changed the name of it, but it's still the same thing, right? But it was fluoxetine and all that, and Prozac and all that back then, and it was fluoxetine. I used to get the green and yellow tablets, I always remember them, right? And I used to say, so what happens when we take this down again and all that stuff surfaces and all that? I was like, literally all you're doing is putting one of the big old style plasters, you know, one your gran used to rip off and it used to take off your leg off, right? And it's like putting one of them over and just lean it.
I know.
So see, one day you're going to have to rip that off. You're going to have to rip it off. You're going to have to clean it out. You're going to have to see the damage. You might need to go deeper than you ever had to go because you just left it and you just kept covering it up with a plaster. And I do get annoyed because I argue with a lot of my recovery people when they say, oh, addiction's not to do with trauma. I don't agree. In my experience, if I'd never been through my trauma...
Very linked.
Aye, linked, whatever. I know there's people out there that's maybe been through my trauma, didn't take that, didn't end up addicts. Fair enough. That's a worldwide argument that I could argue all day with. But it was my gateway. My trauma...
I've worked in addictions before, and I would say...
There's a good majority is trauma linked.
I would say, especially lassies, I would say high 90% I work with have got
trauma as well.
Background of trauma.
And that is how they can get...
Whether it's abuse, physical abuse, or sexual abuse, whatever it is, that's
or all
a high
of them.
percent. Gabor Mate goes a step further. Gabor Mate in his book, In the Realm of the Hungry Ghost,
I was just going to say that.
He says that he's never met a lassie who intravenously used drugs that wasn't sexually abused, which is crazy because he was obviously in downtown Southie doing that mad crazy bit in Canada. But he puts stuff in so well. He's like...
See, the thing is, like, people have compassion for lassies, right, that have been through that, right, if it's your sister and your auntie, right, and then you'll get the lassie online, and no everybody that does this is actually right, but the lassie you know that puts herself out there prerogatively and all that goes with multiple guys. Very women that have maybe been through what they've been through will bring these women down, but then they'll sit in a room with them in a closed thing when they get to know their trauma and go, that's terrible. Well, don't sit there and bring them down, but we're human. So it's I'm
so inspired by lassies that have got, like, I know a few lassies that I'm so inspired by, even if they're not out there doing it. I'm just the fact that they can get through it, because I know I've read about it and the damage it does, and obviously I
psychologically, and it was a knock-on effect as well, because for my childhood, obviously that happened, but that then knocked on to the fact that I didn't know how my distorted view of what love was.
Boundaries and stuff.
And distorted view about what love was, and then distorted view about what was all right and what was safe and what was... I didn't have boundaries. No. I didn't know what boundaries was when it came to that.
That's what it does.
And when a guy tried to treat me nice, I couldn't understand it. And when I got what I was used to, I stayed with it, even though I didn't want it.
Right.
You know, and that's how I just got to an age, and obviously through recovery.
You get comfortable in trauma. This is what it's
like. Because you get used to what you're used to, and that's why it's important if you're a dad or a mum that you learn.
I feel sorry for anybody, Dee, right? And to the day they die, like whether they're an addict or their whole life, I will still try and help somebody that's went through that kind of trauma, right? Even if they listen, if they want to go and smoke crack or they want to go and hang, I'm no saying about it. It's their thing. I'm no like. I remember somebody saying to me, "This doesn't define me, Sean, and I'm not going to let it define me." And they said, "I could dine out in this for the rest of my life. I could dine out every single day, and I know that
it's like
people
you're
would feel sorry."
That 5-O's podcast showing you the guy that went, but I have a friend that went through that same care home.
Aye.
You know, doing in, when I heard the name, the care law, when I heard it mentioned, right? And I see, I mean, don't get me wrong, he does a lot better than that guy, but he does as well have some of the stuff I'm like that, you know, and I've been through, I went through it, and it wasn't residential stuff, it was and I hate saying the family, because it means feel like and I always have to say married in, because it's no it wasn't my family, do you know what I mean? Yep. So, and I don't like my family to feel...
I've been connected to
it, but when I hear some of these stories, some of the lassies that I help through crisis, where I sit and listen to them, sometimes I've got to go away and really go and meditate and detox, because although I've been through bad stuff, something a man should never go through.
Is a real thing,
but when you listen to
if you're an empath and you take people's stuff,
sometimes you've got, and that's how sometimes I just like the comedy to make folk laugh, and the acting to take. I mean, I became a good actress because I learned how to act while I was away. Do you know, because I didn't go in and write my news story that last night this and that happened to me. I went in and said that I went to the zoo at the weekend when I hadn't been out the door and hadn't even got a lollipop. But at the same time, it's like it's something that I think a lassie that's been through that, and the amount of people, including men, but Ken, are doing that, and And you're like, but you've got compassionate, and the thing is, it could be MD's daughter, MD's sister, or anything that can happen to you.
It really hurts me. I like, it's one of my big things is like, there's nowhere, like there's a massive gap, right, between statutory services and like third sector, right? In between that, there's nothing. Right? And it really does my head in, because people will come in and they'll speak about it, and you just know that's the root problem, but you're not allowed to talk about it, and you've got to
because you've got to deal with what your service is.
And our remit is don't go near that.
And then what happens is, like, my experience up until obviously recent years, I met a few folk like you tell me, went, Dee, you're all right, you feel like that? Because I was going to leave certain things, because he kept telling me your trauma's not relevant. Don't tell a trauma child that their trauma's not relevant. Are you mental?
I know.
You know what I mean? Even if you're trying to help the other thing and sort the other thing first, don't tell them their trauma's not relevant. They've been told their whole life
and you get
that they're not relevant.
Like,
exactly.
See if you've got trauma and I've got trauma, and you hit it off.
Every partner I've ever had that lasted more than a month had issues, because I couldn't get with somebody that would go, oh, she's really no right. I had to be with somebody that I was their normal.
I understood.
So they had to match my normal. And that's how, it's not even like a big flex. I've stayed on my own for 6 years to find out who I really am. Because other people will look at it and go, I don't know really good, because I don't know who I was either. I've no idea who I was. I'd played that many roles to survive through my life. I didn't know who I was either, so you're correct. You're right. There's 1,000 characters in there, because I wasn't allowed to be me. I wasn't allowed to be me.
And now you know, Dee, right? It's like when you go back and you go, see if you go back and keep taking the layers back, the layers back, you realise that you're just a consciousness that's watching thoughts, right, come through, and you're choosing to what thoughts you're going to buy into.
Exactly.
Right? Now, whether how messy your head is and how loud it is, that's relevant, right? I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it is you that's buying into those
it's
thoughts.
It's a power. It's like,
I mean?
Nobody's saying it and different, even if you want to, briefly, because I think we've talked about social media enough, but even if you want to get back into the comments, so nobody's saying it and different. The ones that have always said nasty things about me are even winding it up a gear. Do you know what I mean? But no, that's not what I'm going to say. But what they're even winding it up a gear. But I don't choose to buy into that now.
No.
Whereas before I did. So what you're saying, it's what you choose in your thoughts. It's like,
I know. Have you read The Power of Now?
I've read all of them.
Right. So see The Power of Now. It's very hard to do, right? Very hard to do. But when you realise that you're just an observer,
in the day,
observing thoughts, right, and it's up to you how messy you want your head to be, because you can go and meditate and all that, and it works. Like, I've done it before, so I know it works.
I do. There's a big power in meditation for me. I do love it.
And I don't do enough of it. I'm preaching here, so it's like, it's really good for you. It's amazing for you. You can get, as you're talking about therapy, there's loads of things, but people sometimes are comfortable in their trauma, which is sad.
Or they just...
But I'll always still get at.
I don't even know if it's comfortable. I think it's all they know. And see, even because of social media, see when people try to better themselves, that's when people that can't better themselves start attacking that person when they're wide open and they're vulnerable. And that's how there's a big power in. I say, if you're going to recover, if you're going to go for trauma, and I know I put it all out there, that was my biggest mistake. I should have kept that anonymous. I should have went away and done that. I should have had my healing journey. You don't hear me a lot talk about recovery and that anymore. You'll not hear me go right into the crux of it or the depths of it anymore, or I'm 60 days clean. I don't do any of that, because it's a pedestal to put yourself on, that you then get people that aren't where you are at, or they don't like you. I mind that time you've done this, mind you're a whore, you've done this, and you feel all that unwashedness and that uncleanliness and that damaged wee lassie that did all the things, that just did it because she didn't think it in herself, and you feel all that again, and then you're open wide and you're vulnerable, and then you have to fight the urge to go and use the thing that makes you less vulnerable, and then when you take the thing that makes you less vulnerable, you then become that like the nutty professor. You become that thing you thought was going to be good for you, where you can walk about with all this the sexualised clothes on and look at me and I can get any man, destroy any man, and you become that person that you created to protect that wee lassie. But see if you just take that wee lassie, tell her she's all right, tell her that they people are hurt, and they are hurt, and people say, oh, hurt people. Well, no, it is true. But you couldn't see your truth, friend. So you don't fight with somebody that doesn't see their truth and can't see yours. You make sure that you put all your energy into that, because that wee lassie's been through enough. That wee lassie inside me, I was terrified, so I built a big monster around her because too many monsters had come in and attacked her. So I built a big monster.
Sense. Like the walls, you build walls.
Aye.
And walls. I've had a few people saying to me before, Sean, you've got that. Well, I don't think as much now, but you still do have them. But I remember somebody saying, Sean, you've got so many walls beyond walls that you just don't let people in to get.
I let them in now because I can handle pain.
Well, to be honest, I don't.
No, I do. I do let people in now.
I'm scared, right, because I'm going to write a book. My book's a fictional novel about a person who went to prison for something I've done, and I'm not leaving nothing out of it. Everything's going into it. And it's just a fictional novel. It's not about me. But I'm going to write that next year. But I'm not looking forward to it because similarities to what happened to me will be in that book. But I'm probably been putting it off and going, oh, where do I start? Because I know it's going to it's going to hurt me. Do you know what I mean? But I want it to be a cathartic thing where I can.
I think being through even what we've been through in different ways, and our good pal, the guy we mentioned earlier, you know, we're scared of feelings. They're not actually to be avoided. We need to sit on them. We need to feel them. If you don't do this journey for things, like if I don't admit, right, I didn't like who I used to be, I was vulnerable, I maybe was a bit of a mess about, sleep about, regardless to my damage and my child. If I don't accept all of the things about me, then I can't feel that pain. And if I don't feel that pain, then I don't get to get healed, because you don't get you don't get closure and you don't get healing by shutting it out, denying it, and you don't get love by holding your head in here and hoping that nobody touches it, and then project love out, because that's not real. You've got, I mean, there's already, I've opened my heart up and I'm quite vulnerable with my stuff in a day. Yep. Now I just go, that person's no for me. Aye, that stung a wee bit. They go in, but they go out quickly because I've got boundaries now. And you don't get to repeatedly hurt me and stay in my circle. You get to maybe get in quick, but you get out through a hangman. And see, when you go out, I might forgive you, I might love you again, but you don't get back in. But you used to never know get in at all. How could I used to scream about this authentic, lovely person that nobody knew, because, and everybody go like, well, nobody's seen it. No, plenty of people know this authentic person and love that I've got and the heart that I've got, and see the people that want to stab it, or they're not close enough to get it for a start. And also, I don't feel bad towards them. I don't have to fight my anger anymore. I don't have to go out and state of your life and the state of you. I don't care about them enough. And see, even if I do care about you and you do try to hurt me, I've got enough balance and boundaries in my life now that that's not my fault.
No.
Because I've took the blame for loads of things throughout my life. It's because I'm not a nice person. It's because I'm no lovable. It's because I'm no damaged. Well, do you know what? How you treat me isn't my responsibility. That's yours. Because see, if you're a decent person and you're running about somebody that's a bit damaged or that, one, you don't take advantage of who they are. Two, you don't ridicule them because they've already been through enough. And see, if they're causing you pain, you decently and nicely remove them out of your life. If you start attacking and hurting somebody just because they're not that good a person, or they're a bit of a rocket, or they're a dafty, or they've done this 20 years ago, then that says more about your character than it says about the person that you say you're trying to down on and you're trying to call for everything. I see it all the time now, and I'm self-aware because I did it myself. Nothing better than elevating a false bravado when you're saying, but look at the state of them, I'm not like them. Whereas now it's not like that.
You're projecting your own, it's like a mirror, isn't it? You're projecting what you think about yourself onto other people and hoping that it sticks for you. You validate that. I know, it's a weird thing, and I do think that you do need to sit in that pain, and I probably avoid a wee bit of
process it is what I think's a better word. No sitting it enough to know what it is, to make yourself aware of it. Look at, if you can't find the tools to process it, to find it to a better place so it doesn't become a constant trauma trigger, you reach out to people that you have got run about you that can make sense of it. and then you evolve into something else. Because if once we see when
it's
you
forgiving, right? And so there's I've done a lot of acceptance, right? I've done a bit of forgiving because I've had to I forgive people that don't deserve my forgiveness.
Me too.
But I've gave them it for me.
Because you've got to get freedom
else,
for
right?
it.
But there is certain people that I struggle to forgive because I just got it was such a bad thing you done to me, man. Like it was really.
See, even the person that done that thing to me, I forgive the darkness in them that did that to me. Right?
Similar.
So you've got to realise you don't need to forgive the person. You don't need to be like one day, all right, buddy, I'll chum and sit at a table. But for the thing that keeps holding that back in you, I mean, when I used to go to loads of therapies like, you need to eventually forgive that too. And I'm like, forgive it? Are you mad?
No,
you know what I mean? And
it's like pushing a red button into it.
It's like, let's push that and see what happens. But I knew get it. And I don't forgive them. I don't forgive that person. I forgive the darkness that done that, and how dark they would be to hurt such an innocent young child in that way and take their innocence away. And that's why I don't believe that I'm not saying that I've got drug dealers that every day misinterprets that, right? But a drug dealer gets 8 to 10 years, right, for selling a product that everybody takes, right? The majority of the people that take it are trauma victims, right? But somebody that does that to a child, even when it's proven, right, and in lots of cases, lucky if they get 46 years, right? That's where the imbalance is, because see, when you take somebody's childhood away, that's weighing them for the rest of their life. So you should get the same sentence as somebody that unalive somebody. Do you know what I mean?
You guess you like Old Davy. It was on this film. I love Old Davy, man. He's like, but I tried. Somebody was at one of the events, and me and Jordan were talking, and they were like, they were for harm reduction, right? So they were just pure saying, oh, we think the film was great, but it didn't really put harm reduction in a good light, and blah, blah, blah. And I says, well, I think harm reduction gets enough for the mainstream media, and this is just our point of view on the film, and try to be nice about it, but they were all right. But one of them went, what did you do for the victim, the guy that was on there? What was the aftercare for him and all that? And I'm like, we made a documentary. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand you need to be aftercare. And I says to my pal, I'll give him 3. Like,
what did they?
But mate went like that to my other pal, going to tell Sean to stop sending me the letters. I'm not interested. Right? So I'm just like, look, Old Davy's not going to change, man. He is who he is. And he just, that's
all the resources
you know
in the world doesn't make it. I mean, I've had the same interventions that I've got now a few years. No, in my younger years, I just went to a doctor. They papped me with more legal drugs to combat the drugs that I was taking in the outset. They would take me to counselling, even like the doctors now, it's like your emotional regularity. Well, wait a minute, you said I had ADHD, but now I've got this, because they're just trying to fob you halfway in to get you away with their books, right? And back then as well, if I'd listened to the NHS, I'd be dubbed up with lithium, I'd be all sorts of stuff, I'd be probably still got a psych because they didn't have solutions. And so see, when people say that, even my programme, your programme, I'm like, well, what does your programme do? Your programme gives somebody 20 weeks of your time, and if you've no made a difference, you sign them off and you get another man on and you reject us all over again. You know, so when you're looking for aftercare for things, where's your aftercare and your paid job? Your job where when they're not responding to the programme, or they're disrupting the class because if you don't fit into the group and start saying the right things or harm or doing like that, and that goes for all types of recovery.
Of course.
You're removed, or our human condition is, that's too much a scary thing. So sometimes when people say, oh, you had a deep conversation with him, did you do anything to help them after? I said, did you do anything today with the 20 clients that you just wrote off your book last week because you're not doing anything with them and they're not going anywhere? Did you do anything with them? And they're like that. Because sometimes it's just deflection of fear of your job not being hanged as well, because there's a place for harm reduction. There's people that wouldn't do abstinent recovery in a month for Sundays, right, and will never do it. So if you can get them off harm reduction and their life can get to a better quality without, I'm absolutely up for that. I look at my people like, no, you're just a dry drunk. You're just that's no my opinion.
I don't believe that at all.
It's no my opinion. Harm reduction, everybody's got his place. It needs to be balanced, but it needs to be fair.
95% harm reduction, 5%.
The thing about the programme that I do is it's the guy that wrote it didn't want outside funding. You know, so the guy that wrote it back in his heyday didn't want anybody else to put the money into other than people that survived it. So although they say there's no money put into this, and obviously they've got to then make other programmes. But the one that I do, in fairness, that a lot of people have got to remember is the guy that just designed the programme said it was never to be funded by outside people.
Aye.
Do you know? So that's where there's a big stumbling block with some of the type of recovery.
I know. And it depends on, like, I think recovery, I mean, we've had, I spoke about it loads on this podcast, but I think recovery is so individual. It's like what you.
I learnt that the hard way. I was a bit of a tape recorder in the beginning, but.
Because I think there's people that you can listen to who are very, come across amazing and can articulate themselves. It's just like the world, like there's people can articulate themselves and you can get sucked in with them. And then you see like a wee bit of darkness in them and you're like, oh.
It's everybody's
got that darkness.
See what I learned?
I seen you talk about it. See when I put that post up by Andrew Tate and I was like, I'd never post this, but I believe what he's saying here. And you were like, Sean, just because he's got a platform doesn't he? And I'm no,
that doesn't mean to say that I don't think he's paid, but
of course,
it's my biggest argument, Michelle, and all that as well, is
you don't know.
You talk about all these people you don't know. How do you know who they are? Because somebody that's been doing the thing that you've been doing for as long, but my sister, she has got to the point.
I know a boy, right, that just actually on Friday I was talking to him and he knew Tristan Tate, right? So he was a cage fighter, my pal, right? And he was saying to me, look, and he's still got all the messages and he's like...
You better not get this podcast cancelled, mention they two names.
No, I know. And he's like, he's showing you all the text for Tristan Tate, and they were trying to, at the time, get him to fight in an event they were doing. So they'd started doing events like Hingy, and I says to him, what do you think of him? And he went, genuinely, says Andrew, he says, is good at talking, he says, but he's got very low self-esteem, right? And I was like,
of course he has.
Think so? And he's like, and I was like, I couldn't see that with Andrew Tate. I would always think he's kind of like, I'd say he's like kind of very confident, very thingy, but he says Tristan just piggy banks whatever Andrew does, right? So I says, do you think? And he went, Sean, I do believe like he's probably, because Andrew Tate will talk about like, getting an offer and you get the offer to go and do this, and then how, I just don't believe you walk out, you've got all these cases and all that, right? I just feel it's hard, right, for me to believe
you do,
that,
you've got money, Sean.
This is right. So he's got the best lawyers. He's got this. So who am I to say? Right, I don't.
No, I'm not. I honestly, and I've had this argument. I am not a fan of anything.
No,
I only ever talk to people and back up people that I personally know.
But your opinions of, see, like when you put that out and you say, how do you know? You don't know.
You don't.
So you can.
You're going in everybody else's narrative of who you're surrounded by.
To somebody, it's the same as like you'll hear about loads of people that have got a kind of name, and you know people that know them, and then, I mean, I don't ever out it or anything, but you hear people talking about people, and you're like, right, I've heard that too many times now. So people that I know that I believe that now. Do you know what I mean? And then you got other people who you can just like see through. Do you know what I mean? It's like quite blatant. You can see through them. But see, even if he is paid, I mean, like, listen, I've never been challenged, right? Where somebody comes and goes, listen, I'll give you $7,000 a post.
But I'll tell you I'll tell you this one thing, right? I did a film that was about domestic abuse, right?
Aye.
And I had the makeup on for like a black eye, right? Aye. And I did a video after it. Right, my sister and that was phoning at me because folk thought I was part of selling my soul because I had a makeup thing on my black. I'm like, too deep, man. Aye. Get off my phone and don't ever phone me like again, right? Do you know what I mean? And my sister knew it wasn't true, but she was like, here, you maybe watch. I'm not watching what I'm doing because some crackpot has seen me with FX makeup on because I've just done a film, and because I've no washed it off on the way home, and I've done a live video because at that time I did live videos, and you all of a sudden think I've signed a deal with Lucifer. Go and run up my ribs. Do you know? So it's like extreme feats, and that's where, with the Andrew Tate in that opinion, personally in a room, kickboxer, no, I would no MMA him physically at the park, but I would MMA him out the park with this, right? Because see, a guy that needs to be surrounded with women that just worship guys because of how they look, he's clearly insecure. Because an all-rounded guy can sit and have an intelligent conversation. I mean, I was in somewhere recently, and it was a guy quite upmarket, but you wouldn't know he was upmarket. He was a director and all that, and I was speaking away to him, and we challenged intellectually and all that, and And he'd say to me, you know, it's so good for a woman not to fall over. And I was like, fall over, what, mate? I was like, you've got a receding here. And I started slaughtering him. And he's like, that's enough, Denise. You know what I mean? But it's good to do that because, see, a really secure guy, he doesn't need to wear a Rolex. He doesn't need to drive a big motor. He can turn up in a Ford Fiesta with his Sambas on and charm you at the park because he actually does have confidence. He's not going to need to check your phone and your drawer to see if you're talking to anybody because he's secure in himself.
Oh, you always know the guys, didn't you, that always had the nice-looking bird, right? And you were like, what? How's he always got nice-looking birds, right? Because he didn't look, as you say, it was just like hanging. But it's obviously it's
confident, it's authenticity.
The self-esteem, that all comes
the
through.
Warmness.
The warmth.
And see a woman that's together, that really together, and no, like I used to be pretending to be together. See a woman that's really together, if they're heterosexual for talking sake, because that's what I am, so I can only really comment on that. But see a woman that's all together, they men don't interest her. Mm-hmm. See, like me, see guys that are just all about, look at me, my pecs and that, and I've done a bit of street and I've leered some guys, I'm like, I'd lost interest at hello. You know what I mean? Tell me where you're going in life, tell me where you want to be, tell me what you've achieved, tell me what your aspirations are, what's your dreams, where you going. I don't want to hear about the 10 scheme guys that you battered that you could have battered without doing it anyway. I don't care about how big your motor is or your flat in Dubai. I couldn't care less for any. Tell me what do you see in your soul?
I know.
What if you and I've actually got people in my life that are quite good looking people, and you would think they're like that, but they'll know because I can sit. I showed you my pal Ellen, who said he's quite a. But me and him, the conversations we have are just nothing. Like we're talking about the world and about this and the magic of that, and I'm stimulated by intelligence. Intelligence is so attractive, and a woman that's together and really is together and isn't just kidding on she's together because she's pulled it together quite well. That isn't that type of guy because he is so insecure. And you know, see when you start feeling a wee bit like I want to wear my joggies and I don't want to shave because it's the winter. He's looking for that next Barbie to make his arm look good.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? He's looking for that next lassie she's insecure, so she's done herself up so that she looks great. And then when she feels comfortable because she thinks this guy loves her and starts to let herself relax, he's then looking for the replacement because he looks as if he's lost his edge because he's not got that gimmick anymore.
I know. I think most of the guys I know that are doing that have probably been hurt.
Yep.
After somebody,
usually their mother.
Usually them. Badly
usually
hurt,
not been nurtured properly with their mum.
And then confidence and self-esteem are totally two different things.
Completely.
I mean, I'm quite confident.
Yep.
But my self-esteem's not great at times, right? Now I need to work on that at times.
Mine's is like a kettle. Sometimes it's on the bio.
That's the same as mine.
Sometimes it's like warm. Depends what day it is.
I'm like that. But the people I know, like that I kind of respect and stuff, are people with that self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I've seen millions of guys and millions of lassies that have got that confidence. But it's having
the reason
both.
I can see it is there's a thing we say in recovery. If you've
spot
it, you've got
your
it.
self-esteem goes up, your confidence will come down.
Yep.
Like with the way you present.
Your bravado confidence, hear you
totally.
And your big.
That comes
you
down
don't need
with self-esteem.
I mean, I don't walk about like
a balance.
Look here, I walk into the room. I don't do that anymore. But my soul's alright. You know, I feel comfortable sitting with people that maybe have came from somewhere that's no a scheme and we're writing a script together and we're talking about different things and I'm comfortable in that environment because the thing is, before everything broke me, I sat and watched Shakespeare. I read Shakespearean books. I wanted to know what the world was about until mad social norms strangled me because I was always interested in the things that I'm interested in now. I just came from a place that wasn't acceptable and I wasn't strong enough to go against the grain. And the people that were strong enough, like some of my pals that went novel had daylight, they're now excelling in London, Soho, and they're doing all these different things in their own big theatres, and because they didn't conform.
That'll be you, Dee.
No, it's not a better thing. It's just the truth.
See when you get to the stage where you start, it's not I want to be where they are. Not. It's just that it will come because you have got that creative aspect about you as well.
Yeah, I was a wee lassie. I wanted to be an actress. It's not something that's new.
What is it you're doing now then? Do you because I know you're doing some stuff to now. What is it
I do obviously work that I know because I don't do the whole give me a gift and a back flip. Know what I mean? But I've got obviously that. I do a lot of work with trauma. I do my silent counselling and massage and all that. That's kind of the bread and butter sort of thing. I'm writing a play now. I'm writing a comedy one, and I'm also a go between, because my ADHD can't stick at one thing, right? So I'm writing the comedy one, which is almost done. And I'm writing the serious one. I've done the synopsis and all that for that. I've not really got into the crux of it yet, and I've got most of the base of that done. I've been in a few short films and plays, and I'm still auditioning for stuff. I've got comedy gigs set up for next year, you know, and I'm doing it more through a kind of a guy that's going to promote it more rather than me doing all the legwork, because that bit it irritates the life out me. So it's all kind of base work now and building my life, because what's more important to me now is I've no time my wains on holiday. And see folk that know me, they might see if we hear you say about that holiday one more time. But I've no taken them away from my own stuff for 2018. And not just because of money, because when lockdown hurt, I lost that. I went through panic attacks going out and amongst civilization, because see, because of the ADHD and everything else, see, because I got to sit back for life and didn't need to integrate, it was a lot for me to build back into that socialising. Like, see, like the day I'll put my phone off for a couple of hours and I'll speak to him for ages, because I've done that communication for a while and I've reached burnout. So my main goal now is to get some time in my veins, keep writing, doing books and doing the job, building and paying off all the wreckage for all the damage, getting mad weight and everything else, paying all that off and going on holiday in my veins next year and sitting on a beach.
Where you know, going?
Don't know yet. It's just somewhere that's got sun, sea, and obviously no sangria, because I don't touch that now, right? But just want to go away with my veins again. I don't care where it is, how much it is, just me and them, a pool, and somewhere I can sit and read my books.
Canaries.
And just, I don't care. See, as long as I come home with a suntan like I used to, and I can come back and complain about the food like I always do, because I'm dead fussy with food. And then I can come home and say, oh, I'm so glad to get that. I don't have big. I know I'm good at what I do. The opportunities that are falling on my lap now, I'll no shout about, because I used to shout about things and then I'd fuck it. And then they wouldn't come off. I have great opportunities at my feet now. And it's not like I can't wait. I used to go, I can't wait so they can see it. I don't care about them. You know, I've got great things happening. And do you know what? If I could walk, I was great at acting. See, when I worked in the Valley Arc and all that, I was brilliant. You know, I worked with lassies that have been on TV and they're like, Dee, listen, don't listen to them, you're fantastic actress, you're great at all that. Just get back into it and don't be so off the wall where folk go, I really want her for this drama, but I'm so feared in case she does that drama. So I've got loads of things on the pipeline. My main goal, you know, is to get my house into better, Nick, get my wains on holiday, have a fantastic Christmas, keep this healed, keep my life together, keep helping the next person, hopefully hold on to being off everything because it kind of suits me. I'll never say never. Still don't always identify. Your pals will tell you this. Somebody's like full-blown addict, others like, I don't know if I'm an addict. You know what I mean? No. So I go through waves yet, you know, so, and just keep doing the stuff I'm doing. I don't have any big things other than getting back to that, and I've got confidence. My self-worth is back. I start a new fitness programme. A local lassie's starting a rave thing. I'm in the wellness centre, the Serenity Soul, down in Salkits, do you know what I mean? I'm doing loads of work in there. I've got loads of great things going on. I'm doing my ongoing trauma. I've got hundreds of things going on. But I don't want to mention them all because I just want to put them out to the world once they come. And not to say ha-ha like I used to. Just to go keep growing, man. And having the beautiful people, even just meeting that guy in the way in here, that's a pure God job because I've followed his stuff, shared it all, and just meeting people having the same kind of the same kind of insecurities a wee bit. I don't know if it's good enough, or didn't like this about it, and you know, and you go, do you know what? We're all the same. We're all just swimming in the same big rough sea, all full of shite sometimes, all full of bravado, but getting somewhere and sitting with the right people and meeting new people. I want to be happy. I've never been truly happy. I've made other people happy. I just know like that even when I'm talking about this, I can't stop smiling and my heart's singing and my soul feels good and fuck everything before because it's done. I can't unwrite it, but I can write about it and I can make a best thing of it. You know what I mean?
It's a true saying. Like you can't change the past, but you can change the future. Do you know what I mean?
And if I live in here, the future's taken care of.
Totally.
Don't need to worry about what's happening tomorrow. That's why I don't look too far ahead.
No. Do
you know what I mean?
What you call it, like if you call it Jesus, I call it a universe that will look after you.
Whatever you want to call his name, he's all right with.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? He'll look after you, but if you do everything right,
Aye.
do you know what I mean? If you just go with the flow, it's like I've always says to me, like, it was like, trust the process, mate. You know what
It's
I mean?
true.
And I'm like, I know, but it's like, he's just like, trust the process. And I'm like, I know, because you can get caught up in those things. Like, you've got like young kids, you've got a job, you've got like social media stuff going on, you've got, and you have that burnout, you start feeling it. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're traveling all over the place and you're doing a lot of things, do you know what I mean? And it's always stuff that you're kind of trying to help people, and it's like taking on a lot of people's problems, do you know what I mean? When you've got your own to deal with. So you can end up,
You've got to have your full cup.
Say we were saying the other night, we were talking about something, and I was like, I can't even remember, but it was something in the lines of like, we're all going to end up digital ID'd and fucking no future and all that, right? And she was like,
It was just like,
no, I said, she went, what is it you want from me? She's like, you say that I'm the rock in your life, right? And you say that I'm like the person that looks after this house when they run with me and all that. See, if I thought even a 10% the way you think, everything would go to fuck. And I'm like, she's like, see, I need to just look after my family and look after yous and make sure yous are all right, because you're a fucking loony, man. No, that. She's not meaning that in a bad way.
But it's probably, it's different, the conversation that's the same with me and my sister. My sister spent a lot of time like fighting for the world, and I'm like, see, if you just love your own wee corner, and she does do that now. You love your own wee corner, and you just, what your missus says, you know, you can't fix the world. You can only fix the Sean world. You can only concentrate on that and spread a wee bit of knowledge and a wee bit of love. But don't get caught up in it all, because what's most important is feeling in the ways.
It just hurts you in the way that hingy. But no, right, so we're coming up to the end of the podcast, Dee, right? Been really, really, really good, man. I've enjoyed it. So I always give the guest the last kind of we message if they want to kind of speak to like whoever's, maybe somebody's listening to that wants to kind of take on board your message. What would you say to the people watching?
I would just say that don't judge a book by its cover. Read a story before you put out a narrative. And if you are struggling and you do take it, and go to proper services. And I don't mean government run, I mean like fellowship, I mean like all the different anonymous programmes, and go and get trauma counselling, and don't let somebody that's just as hurt as you tell you who you are. And see if somebody doesn't like you, go and find some people that do like you, so that you can get to a point, especially if you've been through a lot of trauma as a kid, and know that you're important, because you don't need to be the best, beautiful, most singing, most dancing. Even if I don't like you, you still don't need to care. You know what I mean? Because as long as you can learn to like yourself, love yourself in your wee corner of your world, like Fiona said, is that's what's important. Life is about magic. It's not about things. You know, I've got people that I've got loads of things that are not as happy as me now. You know, I found happiness because I realised that life's about feelings and memories, and make hundreds of memories, and smash your life out the park, and don't let any audience tell you who you are.
No, I think you're bang on. I think you're right, and I think it's like your light can get dimmed a bit, can't it? And when you're burning yourself out, you know what I mean, and you're constantly researching, and it's negative stuff. Let's be honest, it's no,
and it sticks.
It sticks. You know what I mean? And you've got to be strong. But listen, Dee, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on, man. You. Absolutely brilliant, man.
Enjoyed it eventually.
I know, no, and I really, I do really wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I don't think you'll need it, but I do wish you all the best.
Thank you.